I want you to take a moment and think back about how you felt after finding something that you lost. Relief, joy, excitement, maybe pure exhaustion from a long search. The New Testament records many times where Jesus talks about finding things that have been lost. The parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin, or the prodigal son, all explaining his love and excitement when a lost soul comes back to him. I'm Pastor Rob, and today we're going to be talking about the emotions of finding something we thought we lost. But today we're not going to be focusing on the lost parables of Jesus. We're going to be focusing on a time where the disciples thought they lost him. After Jesus was crucified, the disciples were distraught, thinking they lost their teacher, their leader, the one they hoped to be the Messiah. But even worse, when they went to retrieve the body from the grave, it was gone. And for a moment, all things were lost. Luke 24 describes how two angels were perplexed that his disciples were looking for him among the dead, and they exclaimed, "He has risen." Luke 24 goes on to describe a 7-mile journey that two other disciples went on as they lamented the loss of their Savior. And that's where I want to spend the bulk of our time. These two disciples were discussing all the events that had happened recently, when they were met on the road by Jesus himself, yet they did not recognize him. Jesus asked them what they were talking about, and they were surprised that somebody could be in the city and not know what happened. And as they continued the 7-mile journey, Jesus began to explain the scriptures, starting with Moses, explaining the purpose of the Messiah. And it wasn't until they made it to their destination, broke bread with the stranger, asking him to stay for the evening, that their eyes were opened. They went back to Jerusalem, finding other disciples who had similar encounters with the risen Lord, where they stopped and exclaimed, "He has really risen." Now, throughout the book of Acts, when the disciples were sharing the gospel, that is the good news of Jesus Christ, there was one topic that would always derail the conversation. And that was the part when they got to Jesus resurrecting from the dead, to the point of the crowd even picking up stones to stone those disciples. And the result is similar even today, because most of us can wrap our brain around a good teacher, somebody who is able to live a good life for a good cause. But asking us to believe that he rose again from the grave, something that we know we cannot do, that is challenging. That takes more than head knowledge. That takes faith. And that is exactly what I'm asking you to find today. The faith to believe in a resurrected Lord. Faith that he was more than a good teacher, but he was God in the flesh. And now after his life, death, burial, and resurrection, he is back in his rightful place on his eternal throne in heaven. And if we can muster it up to find this level of faith, you will be saved. And what a glorious day it will be to be united with our Savior for eternity. Another concept that we have a hard time understanding. But again, it's not about understanding, it is about faith. Faith in a big God who set out to do big things. I want to thank KIKO Radio for airing this Word of Hope by Central Heights Baptist Church.